This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I am here with Executive Chef Damon Campbell, the Shangri-La Hotel Toronto Bosk restaurant. How are you today, sir?
Very well, Jamie.
What are we going to be cooking this afternoon?
Today we're going to be cooking one of Bosk's signature beef dishes. It's an Alberta Prime Beef. It's two different cuts. One is a roasted beef tenderloin, and the other one is a smoked and then braised beef short rib. So today we're going to cook that and present that. So here we're going to start off. We're going to sear the beef tenderloin. We're going to get a nice caramelization on the beef. Get a nice crust. Baste it with fresh herbs, garlic, and whole butter. From there, then we'll move on to the short rib.
And chef, your short rib is smoked in-house?
Yes, this is an applewood smoked beef short rib. We smoke it first, and then we braise it. We smoke it, we sear it, and we actually slow cook it for about 36 hours. And then we chill it, and we refinish it on the grill, just to get a little extra smoky flavor with it. Obviously, when the beef hits the pan, you definitely want to hear a specific sound of a searing sound as it hits the pan. If you add the meat to the pan and it's too cold, the meat will actually steam as opposed to sear. You won't get that same caramelization, the same crust on it. We'll let the beef sear here. As the beef's searing, we're just going to add a little bit of oil to our short rib and put it on the grill. So here with the beef tenderloin, we'll ensure that we sear all sides of the beef, top, bottom, and both sides, to make sure we have a nice crust with the beef. Have a different contrast and texture with the meat. As I was explaining before, the beef short rib has already previously been smoked.
Do you mind if I get you to do that one more time?
As we were discussing before, Jamie, the beef short rib has actually previously been smoked and then braised for 36 hours at a temperature of 59 Celsius. It tenderizes the meat, but it still holds the integrity of the structure of the meat, so there's still a good mouthfeel. It's not too soft. And once again, we finish it on the grill to reheat it and also to get a nice grilled and smoky flavor. We're just about done searing the beef tenderloin. After I sear the beef tenderloin, I'll remove it from the pan, discard the oil, and then I'll add fresh herbs, garlic, and butter, and baste the meat to add moisture, but more obviously just as important to add flavor to the meat. We're grilling the beef short rib at the moment. One reason is for our beef dish, it's one of our signature dishes, but it's always nice for the diner to have two different cuts of meat. It's a little more interesting to eat. You know, we have a dry heat cooking method in the beef tenderloin, and then we have a moist heat cooking method in the beef short rib. You know, one roasted, one braised. So as the diner eats, it's a little more interesting as far as texture, mouthfeel. The rest of the dish composes of a very light pomme puree. We serve it with forest mushrooms, young carrots, red wine, and onion puree. So here we're just taking a generous amount of butter. Take some garlic, some fresh herbs, for here is for the garlic and the herbs to infuse into the butter, infuse flavor into the butter. We'll get the butter foaming a little bit nutty brown for flavor, and then we're going to add the beef back into the pan and baste it for about a minute. So you can see the butter here. You can see the butter and the herbs obviously starting to foam. As it starts to foam up and color a bit, I'll drop the meat in. I'll turn the heat down a bit. There's enough heat in that pan to carry on cooking. And this is where we will baste the meat, bath the meat. We'll just pull it off to the side, let it rest. We'll let it rest in the butter a little bit. Okay, I will then take the short rib. This is the beef short rib. We'll add this to the pan. We're just going to glaze that with a bit of butter. The butter obviously, the butter imparts flavor, shine. Flavor, shine. We've seared the beef tenderloin, caramelized it. We've grilled the beef short rib. Now we're just going to glaze some simple asparagus, some mushrooms, king oyster mushrooms, some asparagus, a little bit of young carrot. We actually already have a little palm puree made here in the bag, as you would for, this is how we would hold it for service, just before we decorate the plate. So as the meat rests at the moment, we'll glaze all the vegetables. So when we glaze the vegetables, a little bit of chicken stock, a little bit of butter, a little herb. What we're doing here is we're glazing the vegetables, obviously flavor, shine, and we're just creating a little pan sauce, a little emulsion with the chicken stock and the butter to go together. We'll lastly add the asparagus. The asparagus takes very little time to cook. We'll start with the harder vegetables first. These mushrooms, the king oyster, they're very meaty mushrooms. A lot of times you would quickly, if it's a chanterelle or something more delicate, you would saute the mushroom quickly. And now these king oysters are quite a meaty mushroom. So actually what we've done, we've actually braised, we've seared, and then we've braised the king oyster mushroom actually for quite a long time in a flavorful aromatic stock, and then it gets cooled down. And then as we do for service, we would then reheat it in a little bit of butter and stock and herb like I'm doing now to warm it through. I think Jamie's quite happy that we're finished because I think it's just a little bit hot behind the stove at the moment.
You're right there.
So all we're looking for is just a nice, you can see how the stock and the butter have come together to make a little pan sauce and glaze the vegetables. That's what you're looking for essentially. We have our beautiful potato. We'll start to plate the dish. This is the beef short rib here. You could definitely serve the beef short rib as a whole. For service and for my menu, we like to cut it open and display it. And if you actually look at the color of the beef short rib, typically when you braise a lot of pieces of meat, obviously you're cooking it all the way through, so the color will be a gray or a light brown. By cooking at a very low heat at a gentle temperature, it still retains its color. It still retains a nice redness, as opposed to a dark brown or a grayish color. This one here is the beef tenderloin. Once again, a lot of times you can definitely serve it whole. We like to slice it once in half, show the color.
It's beautiful.
So there we go.
Perfect, yeah.
Medium rare. This is typically how we'll plate most of all our dishes. We do them with tongs since the vegetables are very small and delicate, so we use little tweezers We find for the size of the food, this is the best way to handle it. At this point, the dish is pretty much plated. Now I'll take the sauce and sauce the plate.
And what do you have in here?
This one here is our red wine sauce. So essentially, it's a veal stock reduced down with port wine, red wine,
Right.
shallots, and then just finished with long pepper and aromats. And then we'll just finish saucing the plate. This one here, we're just garnishing with a little micro Mizuna leaf.